Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, here to do the way of mastery. I love to do the way of mastery here on Facebook Live. Welcome to the way of mastery. Welcome to the way of mastery on Facebook Live. It is such a wonderful, wonderful experience to be with you right now. I want to welcome my mighty companions. I want to welcome you, my mighty companions who are joining online. It's good to be with you. You are free to choose anew. That's the name of the section that we're doing. You are free to choose anew on page 235 in the way of mastery. We're going to be on lesson 19, surrender the dream of the dreamer. The section is called You Are Free to Choose Anew. We're on page 235. Hello, mighty companions. I see you coming online. I appreciate you so much. I want you to remember one thing. Remember one thing. You don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And some of the ideas you will find quite startling. It is important to remember that you don't have to analyze the ideas at all. The key is to use the ideas. Tonight's topic is you are free to choose anew. You are free. This is the way of mastery. Please take a moment to share this video on your timeline so that other people will get a chance to tune into this powerful teaching that we are doing. I want to ask you right now to take a breath. Take a breath right now so we can get tuned in. Now, in this moment, are you free to choose anew? Tell yourself, now in this moment, I am free to choose anew. Now in this moment, I am free to choose anew. Take a breath. We're on page 235 in the way of transformation, in the way of mastery, the section called You Are Free to Choose Anew. And I'm going to start now. And what I do is deliver a message and see if we can allow ourselves to hear this. And since we are live, that gives you a chance to communicate with each other. And it also gives you a chance to communicate with me. Now I'm going to see your comments. And from time to time I will be responding. But my goal is to bring this to life. Now, in this moment, do you know that you are free to choose anew? So how do you choose in a brand new way? Now, are you free to rescind, take away your judgments of the world? If you want to choose in a new way, you take away your judgments of the world. Right now, in this moment of eternity, do you know what you can do? You can choose. You can choose. What is it that you can choose? You can choose to recognize. Choose to recognize what? You can choose to recognize that you are already awake. What do you mean? What do you mean that I'm already awake? Well, it means you are freely choosing what outpicturings that you're going to pour forth from your mind. Being awake means that you can choose what kind of pictures you want to project from your mind. When I say you are already awake, it means that you are freely choosing what you want to think. You are freely choosing how you want to think. A person that's already awake is a person that knows that they are projecting the pictures from their mind, and that what you are seeing in your experience is a projection of the pictures in your mind. A person that's already awake is a person that knows that they are freely choosing if they're going to think for themselves or not. A person that is perfectly awake, that's a person that thinks for themselves. It's time for you to think for yourself. It's time for you to think for yourself. It's time for you to think with God. It's time for you to think with love. If you are perfectly awake, it means that you know that you are projecting out from your mind what you're looking at. And if you're perfectly awake, you know that you can think what you want to think. Tell yourself, I can think what I want to think. 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 Tell yourself, I can think what I want to think. I can think what I want to think. You can think what you want to think. You can think what you want to think. Whether to believe your outpicturings or to see your outpicturings as like a temporary cloud passing through an infinite sky that the clouds have never affected or influenced. What does that mean? You are free now. Tell yourself, I am free now. I want this to be an experience, so I want you to join in with me. Tell yourself, I am free now. You are free now. Tell yourself, I am free right now. You are free right now. What are you free to do? You are free to simply say this within yourself. Say this inside yourself. You can do it. Let's do it, mighty companions. This is an experience. Don't just sit and watch. Say to yourself these things that Spirit is telling us. I am free now. Tell yourself, I am free now. I am free now. Say it to yourself. I am free now. I am free now to simply say within myself, I can choose peace. I can choose peace. I can choose peace. I can choose peace. I am surrendered. I am surrendered. I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. I want you to think of something that you've been upset about. I want you to think of something that has been upsetting you. I want you to think of something that you've been giving yourself fear about, and tell yourself, I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. Tell yourself now, if there's something that has been upsetting you in any way, tell yourself, I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. I am surrendered. I am surrendered. I am surrendered. I am surrendered. And nothing matters. Nothing matters save the extension of the good, the holy, and the beautiful. The only thing that matters is that you extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful. This is on page 235. I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. I am surrendered. I am surrendered. And nothing matters. And nothing matters save the extension of the good, the holy, and the beautiful. The good, the holy, and the beautiful. Therefore, say to yourself, Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Ask that question. Ask that question. Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? Love, in this moment, what is your will for me? Love, in this moment, what is your will for me? Go through this with me. Go through this with me. Do it with me. Do it with me. Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? God, in this moment, what is your will for me? Love, in this moment, what is your will for me? Love, in this moment, what is your will for me? Love, in this moment, what is your will for me? Don't be afraid. Thank you, Diana, so much for keeping people aware of where we are in the way of mastery tonight. I appreciate your support and your help. I'm going to take you on a little journey. I want you to let yourself hear and communicate with each other. You are empty of self. If you are awake, Do you know that you are empty of striving? If you're perfectly awake, you are empty. What are you empty of? You are empty of the need to be right. A perfectly awake being is a being that is empty of the need to be right. A perfectly awake being is empty. A perfectly awake being is empty of the need to judge. I am empty of the need to judge. A perfectly awake being is empty of the need to perceive anything in any certain way at all. Do you know that when you are awake, you don't even have a need to see anything in any certain way at all? Do you know that when you are perfectly awake, you are freed from attachment? So what kind of attachment are you free of when you're perfectly awake? When you're perfectly awake, you are free of the need to be attached to the fruits of your action. So this is what you want to say within yourself. I can choose peace instead of this. I am surrendered, and nothing matters save the extension of the good, the holy, and the beautiful. Therefore, Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? When you're perfectly awake, you are empty of self, you're empty of striving, you're empty of the need to be right. You finally let go of your need to be right. When you're perfectly awake, do you know that you let go of your need to judge? You let go of your need to see anything in any certain way. When you're perfectly awake, you are free. You're free from the attachment to the fruit of your action. So how can you tell when you're perfectly awake? When you're perfectly awake, you're not striving anymore. You're not caught up in your ego anymore. You don't need to be right anymore. You don't need to judge anymore. You don't need to see anything in any certain way anymore. And you are not even attached to the results of your actions anymore. That is what a person is like when they're perfectly awake. When a person is perfectly awake, they only want to extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful. When a person is perfectly awake, all they do all day long is they go, Father, Mother, God, universe, spirit, love, in this moment, what do you will for me? You don't have a puffed up pride about yourself when you're perfectly awake. And you're not striving and seeking all day long. You don't have a need to be right about anything, and you don't have a need to judge. You don't have a need to see anything in a certain way. You're not attached to the fruits of your action. Yet at the same time, paradoxically, when you are perfectly awake, do you know how you can tell when you're perfectly awake? A person that's perfectly awake is a person that's allowing creativity to flow through them. A person that's perfectly awake is a person that's trusting. A perfectly awake being is a being that is trusting. That is trusting what? A perfectly awake being is a being that's trusting that there's already a greater mind that knows how to best serve the plan. If you are awake, you trust that God already knows what's best to serve the atonement, to serve the plan. Do you see what the way of master is doing? What the way of master is doing is it's describing to you how you are going to be when you really do wake up. It's giving us very specific descriptions of what kind of person that you would be if you were perfectly awake. You would be allowing creativity to flow through you. You would be trusting that there's already a greater mind that knows best how to serve the atonement. And the atonement, what is the atonement? The atonement, and some people pronounce it at-one-ment, but it's really the atonement, is the uplifting of the whole sonship. The atonement is all of us being uplifted, every brother, every sister, because every brother and every sister, they're just aspects of the mind of God. You are an aspect of the mind of God. You are an aspect of the mind of love. You are an aspect of the mind of God. Not your mind, but your mind. Your mind is an aspect of the mind of God. Your mind is a point of light. Your mind is seemingly fragmented from the one mind. It looks like your mind is separate from the one mind. And another term for the one mind is the one light. It looks like you are separate. It looks like you are fragmented from the one man. But the truth is, you are one light. Now it's time to funk it up and to hear it a little bit better. You are free to see. 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 And please listen. Listen carefully. I want you to listen. Listen carefully. Right where you are. Right where you are. You are free to see right where you are that the separation from God, the separation from God never occurred. Your separation from God, your separation from God, your separation from God never occurred. Say it. My separation from God, my separation from God, my separation from God never occurred. 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 My separation from God. Claim it for yourself and say, my separation from God never occurred. 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 Do you know that all your attempts to keep your separation in place, every attempt to keep your separation in place, has been like battling for the rights to a chimera that doesn't exist. In other words, it's a weird word. All attempts to keep your separation in place is like insisting that the illusion of an oasis in a desert be truly real. Instead of going to the location and finding out what is real and what is false, instead of standing there bickering with your arms folded across your chest, instead of arguing for the right to be right, don't do that, because if you do that, reality will slip right through your fingers. All the while, even though you don't realize it right now, all the while, in this moment right now, you are standing next to a beautiful spring which bubbles forth with the purest of waters. You are standing next to the beautiful spring of life and God and love. Tell yourself, you are free now. I said you. I'm talking to you. You are free now. You are free now to entertain one idea totally. You are free now to entertain one idea totally insane. I'm going to give you an idea that's totally insane to the world. You are free now to entertain one idea that's totally insane to the world. I'm going to give you an idea for you to entertain that would seem totally insane to the world. I am awake now. I am awake now. Tell yourself, I am awake now. 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 My dream has not occurred. Tell yourself, my dream has not occurred. My dream has not occurred. My dream has not occurred. No separation has occurred. No separation has occurred. No distance has been traveled. No distance has been traveled. Grace has already restored me. Say it to yourself. Grace has already restored me. And I am free to perceive the real world. Say it. I am free to perceive the real world. Say it now. I am awake now. Say it. I am awake now. My dream has not occurred. My dream has not occurred. No separation has occurred. No separation has occurred. No distance has been traveled. No distance has been traveled. Grace has already restored me. Grace has already restored me. And I am free to perceive the real world. Say that. And I am free to perceive the real world. Now, and I see those of you that are joining me in these ideas and giving yourself an opportunity to let them go through you. And you're also sharing these ideas with each other. Mighty companions, I know that most people think of a class as just sitting around analyzing the ideas, but I'm a messenger. And I'm here to deliver a message as sincerely as I can. I'm here to use my body for the good, the holy, and the beautiful. I'm here to join with you, and you are here to join with each other, and you're here to join with me. You may not realize it, but us coming together to focus on this together in real time, that's the most important, powerful thing you can do to produce all kinds of miracles in your life that'll solve all the problems that you're trying to figure out. When you get out of the world and your worldly thinking and your ego thinking for just an hour, 90 minutes, like you do when you come to the Way of Mastery or the Course in Miracles Facebook Lives that I do, that is what produces the miracles. That's what will get your bills paid in your perception, or you have a peace about whatever your bill situation is. Us joining together, that is the atonement. That is the miracle. I know the ego mind thinks it's all about talking about your story, the story of this and the story of that. But you know what would change everything in your life right now? If you were to do exactly what the Way of Mastery says, which is to tell yourself, I am awake now. I am awake now. That's why I repeat things 2 times so that you can join in on the second time. My dream has not occurred. My dream has not occurred. No separation has occurred. No separation has occurred. No distance has been traveled. No distance has been traveled. Grace has already restored me. Say it. Grace has already restored me. And I am free to perceive the real world. What? I am free to perceive the real world. So do you know what we would ask of you? To spend some time doing what we have suggested. Spend some time doing what this has suggested. To do what? Sit quietly. Take some time to sit quietly. Take some time to sit quietly. Take some time to ask the questions that were asked just a few pages ago, which is saying there is nothing that the world can add to you. There's nothing the world can subtract. There's nothing that the world can add to you. And there's nothing that the world can subtract from you or to you. So the way of mastery is saying what you do is sit with the words that you've just been given over and over and over again. Sit with the words that have just been given over and over and over again without being in a hurry. Sit with the words that you've been listening to. Watch these videos over and over and over. Read the Way of Mastery over and over. Sit with these words that have just been given over and over and over again without being in a hurry, without struggling or being in a hurry. And then what I want you to do is see if you can touch the place. See if you can touch the place in you that knows the truth of these words. Sit quietly with these words over and over again. Don't be in a hurry. Don't struggle. See if you can touch that place within you that knows the truth of those words, so that that truth is felt to be your own truth. Sit with these words that you've been given. Sit with these words. Be with these words over and over and over. Don't be in a hurry. Don't struggle. And see if you can touch that place inside of you where you can feel the trust and feel the truth of these words as your own. Don't you know that it's not until you feel it? It's not intellectual. It's not all intellectual. It's, can you feel it? Can you allow yourself to feel what we're being told? Sometimes we as truth students can be so in our heads. And it says right here, sit with the words just given over and over again without being in a hurry, without struggling. See if you can touch that place that knows the truth of those words, so that that truth is felt to be your truth. Do you know that then and only then when you finally begin to dissolve the power that you've given to the ego? It's not until you feel this that you're going to dissolve the power that you've given to your ego. The ego is your fearful mind. You don't dissolve the power of the fearful mind until you hear the truth over and over again without being in a hurry, without struggling. Seeing if you can touch that place inside of you that knows the truth, so that you can feel this truth as your own truth. And that's when you will dissolve your ego. Analyzing it is not going to dissolve the ego. And what is the ego? What is the ego? The ego is just a bundle of sensations. What is the ego? It's just a bundle of sensations. The ego is just a bundle of perceptions. The ego is just an outpicturing. So the ego is just a bundle of sensations and perceptions and outpicturings that are the very attempt to do the impossible. Do you know the ego is trying to do the impossible? Do you know the ego is trying to do the impossible? Do you know what the impossible is? Do you know what the impossible is? Do you know what the impossible is that the ego is trying to do? The ego is trying to make you think you can be separate from God. The ego is the part of your mind that tells you that you are separate from God. The ego is the part of your mind that tells you that you are separate from the oneness and that you are separate from love. The ego is the part of you that tells you that you're separate from God. Would you be willing to surrender that value? Would you be willing to rescind that value of thinking that you're separate from God? Would you be willing to bring yourself back? Would you be willing to bring your ego part of your mind back to your heart and soul, and then offer your ego your sense of separation? Would you be willing to offer your sense of separation and your ego up to your Creator? Would you be willing to offer what you think of as your separate self up to your Creator right now? Would you be willing to offer your separate, what you think of as your separate self up to your Creator right now? Would you be willing to offer your little separate self up to your Creator right now? And I see every one of your comments, and I always read all of your comments. Don't hesitate to communicate with each other. We are mighty companions. We are a tribe. and we are here together right now. That's the point of me doing it live. Or else I could just do a recording and post it. It's about us coming together, joining with other beings of a like mind, and communicating with each other. So would you offer your sense of separation to God? Would you offer your little separate self? Would you offer your little separate self to God? Would you offer your little separate self to God? This is the point of conversion. Do you know that the conversion, here then is the point of conversion. Do you know what a conversion is? It's the turning about in the seat of the soul. It's the turning about in the seat of the soul that must be reached by anyone who in truth would seek God. So what is the big turnaround that anybody has to go through if they're really seeking God? A person that's really seeking God has to go through a turnaround in the seat of their soul. So what is the big turnaround you have to do? What is the big turnaround that you have to do? You need to realize that you're not living. To realize that you live, yet not themselves, but that one God who extends power and life. God who extends power and life have brought you into being. God, the part of you that gives you power, the part of you that gives you life has brought you into existence. God brought you into existence. You got to turn around and realize that you didn't create yourself. God brought you into existence. There's a greater power, a greater mind, a greater being that brought you into existence. And you have a function. Do you know that you have a function to fulfill? And it's not the little functions that the human mind thinks. You have a very powerful function to fulfill. And it is your function, and it's no one else's function. You have a very powerful function to fulfill, and it's your function. It's nobody else's function. Your function cannot be compared to anybody else's function. You have a function to fulfill. You have a function to fulfill. It is your function and no one else's. It is your function and no one else's. Your function cannot be compared. Your function can only be allowed. Your function cannot be compared. Your function can only be allowed. I allow my function. I allow my function. I allow my function. I allow. Say it. I allow my function. I allow my function. Whew. I can feel it, you all. I allow my function. You allow your function. I allow my function. You allow your function. You have a function to fulfill, and it is yours and no one else's. This function cannot be compared. It can only be allowed. I allow my function. I allow my function. Say it. I allow my function. I allow my function. Claim it. I allow my function. So do you know what your assignment is? Your assignment is to spend some time, as much as you want, for the next few days. Your assignment is to sit with the truth. So your assignment over the next few days is you have to sit with the truth. Now, those of you who feel like you're going to be too busy, those of you who feel like you're too busy to take some time to sit with the truth, then let your time be used in busyness. And thereby, you will continue to try to convince yourself that the world is real. But your assignment from the way of mastery is to spend some time, as much as you want, for the next few days, sitting with the truth. Those of you who feel like you're too busy to do it, then you're just going to be still convincing yourself that the world of the ego is real. That's all you're going to be doing. You're so busy. You're so busy. You're just so busy all the time. You're just so busy. The whole world would collapse if you didn't take care of all the stuff that you got to do in the outer world. That's a trick of your ego. That's you trying to convince yourself that the world is the ultimate reality. That's what all of that busyness is about. Do you know that sometimes we stay busy so that we won't hear our own thinking? Actually, staying busy all the time is a way of avoiding taking a deep look at yourself. So therefore, spend some time, as much as you want, for the next few days sitting with the truth. Wait for a few days, perhaps until you come to your weekend. Then when your boss tells you that you have so-called time off, if you can't do it during the week, then if your boss, or you finally get to the weekend, then sometime in the weekend, sit with the truth. Because as the truth settles into your soul, do you know that what's going to happen as the truth settles into your soul? I want you to hear what's going to happen when the truth settles in your soul. All that we have been doing prior to this will become easier and much easier and make much more sense. As the truth settles in your soul, everything will become easier and make much more sense. As the truth settles into the soul, everything that you've been doing will become easier and make much more sense. As the truth settles in your soul, as you sit with the truth and you let the truth settle in your soul, it will clear the space for what is to come. It's time to clear the space for what is to come. Clear the space for what is to come. Clear the space for what is to come. How do you clear the space for what is to come? How do you clear the space? The way that you clear the space is you take time to sit with the truth. You take time to be with the truth and to let the truth soak in. Remember, you have a function to fulfill, and it is your function and no one else's function. Your function cannot be compared. Your function can only be allowed. So it's important for you to sit with the truth. Take some time. I know you're busy. I know the whole world would collapse if you didn't do all the things that you have to do. But as soon as you can, take some time to sit with the truth. Do you know that when you sit with the truth and you let the truth settle into your soul, everything that you've been doing is going to become easier and make much more sense. If you sit with the truth, do you know what's going to happen? Everything is going to get easier and easier and easier and make much more sense. Sitting with the truth, being with the truth, it will clear the space for what is to come. For when the mind has truly awakened, do you know that when your mind has truly awakened from the illusion, when you wake up from the illusion, when you wake up from the fear of the separation, when you wake up from the illusion, when you recognize that you are more than a body, when you recognize that you are more than a body, when the mind has truly awakened from illusion, there is nothing left but to be a servant of the atonement. And the atonement is the uplifting of all of us. It's the correction of error. Atonement is the undoing of fear and the correction of error. The atonement is the forgiveness of all that's unreal. And when your mind is truly awakened, there will be nothing left but to be a servant for the atonement. Do you know that the only question that will be left when you wake up? When you wake up, there's only one question that's going to be left. When you wake up, there's only going to be one question. There's only going to be one question when you are awake. Father, how this day might I serve? 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 That's the only thing that's going to be on your mind when you really wake up. You'll be going, universe, God, how this day might I serve? Universe, God, how this day might I serve? Father, Mother God, how this day might I serve? I'm awake now. I'm ready to fulfill my function. I know I have a function that no one else can fulfill. I'm going to give you time. I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to sit with the thoughts of truth until I feel them, until I feel the truth as my own. And I'm not going to need to be right anymore. I'm not going to be attached to everything that I do. I'm going to wake up and I'm awake, and I just want to be a means to extend the good, the beautiful, and the holy. So I'm going to wake up. When I'm awake, when you're spiritually awake, this is what you're going to ask. How this day might I serve? How this day might I serve? How this day might you 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 serve? We are going to bring this message to a close, as there is no need at this point for a continuation of words. Do you know that there's only the need for direct experience? There's only the need for direct experience. Held within the aloneness of your own mind and being. There is only the need for direct experience of God and love. Held within the aloneness of your own mind and being. Do you know that revelation, that's right, Alita, write that down on an index card. Interact with it. Revelation is intensely personal. Revelation is an experience of it's intensely personal. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is intensely personal. Revelation is intensely personal. Revelation is intensely personal. Revelation cannot be communicated to anyone at any time. You reveal what you got in a revelation through the change in behavior that you express. But do you know the revelation that comes to each mind, revelation may come in a unique way. Revelation may come in a unique way. But the revelation will be a revelation of the one truth. The revelation will be a revelation of the one truth. And that is why when any two beings who are awake happen to meet each other, when any two beings who are awake happen to meet each other, there is little to do but smile. When any two beings who are awake, like we are, happen to meet each other, there's little to do but smile. You smile and you allow the phenomena of life to continue. I allow the phenomena of life to continue. I allow the phenomena of life to continue. Therefore, know that I love you greatly. I love you greatly. We love you greatly. Our invisible brothers and sisters are saying through the way of mastery, we love you. We love you greatly. We love you greatly. We love you greatly. We love you greatly. And we love you greatly. And we honor you. I honor you. We honor you. I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the world. We honor you for the courage it takes. It takes a lot of courage to let go of the beliefs of the world, and I honor you for having the courage to let go of the world. I honor you. 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 I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the ego. I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the world. I love you, William. I love you, Jana. I love you, Diana. I love you, Susan. And I love you, all of you online right now. I can't even get it all out, but we're honoring each other right now. We're honoring each other for the courage it takes to let go of the world and do what? And open the palms of the heart to the grace of heaven. Open the palms of the heart to the grace of heaven. Open the palms of the heart to the grace of heaven. I open the palms of the heart. As we continue the way of transformation, as we continue the way of transformation, let it be done. Let it be done from the perspective of delightful innocence. Let this be done from the perspective of delightful innocence. Let this be done from the perspective of delightful innocence. What does that mean? Well, let it be done in a mind that recognizes there is nothing else to do. There is nothing else to do with time. There's nothing else to do with time except extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful. There's nothing else to do with time but extend the good, the holy, and the beautiful. And peace then be unto you always. Go in peace this day. Amen. Go in peace today, mighty companions. That was so powerful, and I'm going to do a review of it so we'll hear it once again. You are free to choose anew. You are free to choose anew. I would love for you to continue to support my teaching ministry by making a financial expression of appreciation so that I can continue to do this with you and to fulfill my function, my special function. If you really appreciate this and you'd like to support my teaching ministry and you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, go to www.earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy.com. I would truly appreciate it, as I am a full-time teacher. This is my function. This is what I do in the world. I would love to work with you on a one-on-one. I would love to work with you on a one-on-one and help you get past the blocks in any area of your life and allow you to see and benefit through my 40 years of experience of teaching and counseling in New Thought. And I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist, and Spirit also communicates through me to you through these means also. And if you're open to it, I bring it into our personal session. And these personal sessions are called clarity sessions. If you go to my website, earlpurdy.com, it explains in detail what it is that I do, the services that I offer, so that we can work together. You're such a blessing. I do 3 Facebook Live classes a week. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I do the Way of Mastery. On Thursdays, I do what I call Hardcore A Course in Miracles. I've been a Course in Miracles teacher and student for almost 40 years. And I do a Hardcore Course in Miracles class on Thursday night that's primarily geared toward people who are studying A Course in Miracles. And then on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do another Course in Miracles class that's more geared toward the general public and everybody. Thursday night is hardcore. And you don't have to be a member of Facebook to watch my Facebook Live presentations. You just go to www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. I'll repeat. All you have to do is to watch my Facebook Lives is to go to www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. Also follow my Earl Purdy page so that you want to follow it and like the page so that you can be notified whenever I go live, because sometimes I'm going to do spontaneous live presentations and I'll be doing workshops and other things and you want to know about it. So go to my website, sign up for my contact list. There are hundreds of free classes you can watch online on my website and on YouTube. So I just want you to know that I am here. I'm glad you like me in yellow, Diana. I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a review, but I want you to listen. I want you to take a breath, and I want you to close your eyes if you choose to, and I'm going to do a quick review of this section that we just did. Here we go. Let yourself feel it. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for communicating with each other. Thank you for joining me live. Here we go. You are free to choose anew. You are free to choose anew. Now, in this moment, you are free to choose anew. Now, you are free to rescind your judgments of the world. Now, in this moment of eternity, you can choose to recognize that you're already perfectly awake, freely choosing what outpicturings you will pour forth from your mind. You are free to choose whether to think for yourself or to think with God. You are free to choose whether you believe your outpicturings. You are free. You are free. My golly, you are free. You are free now to simply say within yourself, I can choose peace instead of this. I am surrendered and nothing matters save the extension of the good, the holy, and the beautiful. Therefore, Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Ask this question. Go, Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Father, in this moment, what is your will for me? Well, you are empty of self, empty of striving, empty of the need to be right, empty of the need to judge or the need to perceive anything in any certain way at all. You are freed from attachment to the fruit of your action. Yet paradoxically, guess what? You are allowing creativity to flow through you. I am allowing creativity to flow through me. So you say, you are allowing creativity to flow through you. Guess what? Trusting that there is already a greater mind. There is a greater mind that knows how best to serve the plan. The plan of the atonement. Do you know what the plan of the atonement is? It's the uplifting of the whole sonship. That's every brother, every sister. You are but an aspect of the mind of God, not your mind, because your mind is an aspect of the mind of God. Your mind is a point of light. It seems like it's fragmented from the one mind, the one light, but you are free to see. And I want you to listen carefully. You are free to see right where you are, what? That the separation from God never occurred. Your separation from love in God never occurred. All your attempts to keep your separation in place, it's like insisting that the illusion of an oasis seen in a desert is truly real. So stop going from location to location trying to find out what's real and what's false. Instead of bickering and letting reality slip through your fingers. Because all the while that you're bickering and running to and fro, there's a beautiful, beautiful spring of love that's bubbling all around you. Do you know you are free now? You are free now. You are free now. Brother Demola, do you know you are free now? You are free now to entertain one idea that's totally insane to the world. And I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you right now. You are awake now. You are awake now. Your dream has not occurred. Your dream of separation has not occurred. No separation from God has ever occurred. No distance has been traveled. No distance has been traveled. Grace has already been restored to you. Grace has already been restored to you. You are free to perceive the real world. You are free to perceive the real world. I am free to perceive the real world. I am free to perceive the real world. We would ask of you this. This is your assignment, to spend some time doing what we just suggested. Sit quietly, ask the questions about how can you serve, and know that there's nothing in the world that can add anything to you. There's nothing in the world that can subtract anything from you. Sit with these words over and over again. Don't be in a hurry. Don't struggle. See if you can touch the place. See if you can touch the place that knows the truth of the words that we've been using this evening. So that that truth, let that truth be felt to be your own. Feel the truth. Get out of your head. Feel the truth. Get out of your head. Because it's only when you feel the truth, it's only when you feel the truth that you can dissolve the power you've given to the ego. When you can let the truth dissolve the power that you've given to the ego, your fear. What is the ego? The ego is just the bundle of sensations and perceptions. The ego is the bundle of sensations. The ego is just the bundle of sensations and perceptions and outpicturings that are the very... You've been trying to attempt through the ego to do the impossible. Do you know that the impossible is to think you can separate yourself from God? Would you be willing to rescind that value? Would you be willing to give your separated self? Would you be willing to give it back to your heart and soul? Would you be willing to give your little separated self and offer it to your Creator? Are you willing to offer yourself to your Creator? This is the moment of conversion, the turning point that you must reach, and everyone must reach who would seek God. Realize that you are alive, but it's not you that's generating your life. That it's God who is extending power in life. And God extending your power in life has brought you into being. God has brought you into being. You have a function to fulfill. It is your function and nobody else's function. Your function cannot be compared. Your function can only be allowed. Your function can only be allowed. Do you have that willingness, Kim? I got that willingness too. Renew, do you have the willingness? William, do you have the willingness? Diana, do you have the willingness? You mighty companions, do you have the willingness? So if you really have the willingness and you've been hearing this, then spend some time, as much as you want, for the next few days, sit with the truth. And those of you who are too busy, just know that all of that busyness is nothing but your attempt to try to convince yourself that the world is real. That's all you're trying to do, is convince yourself that the world is real if you're too busy to do this. And if you are too busy, wait till the weekend. And then when the weekend comes and you're off from work, sit with the truth. Because do you know that as this truth settles into the soul, everything that you've been doing prior to this will become easier and make more sense. The more you let the truth settle in your soul, it's going to make things easier and easier and easier, and everything is going to make much more sense. If you let the truth settle in your soul, it will clear the space for what is to come. Clear the space for what is to come, the beauty that is to come, the love that is to come, the abundance, that peace that is to come, as you let the truth settle into your soul. Do you know, when your mind is truly awakened from illusion, there is nothing left but to be the servant of the plan of atonement. Do you know that when you really wake up, the only thing that's left is you're going to say, Father, how this day might I serve? Father, how this day might I serve? So we're going to bring this to a close. There's no need for the continuation of words. There's only the need for you to have a direct experience within the aloneness of your own mind and being. Because revelation is intensely personal. Revelation cannot be communicated to anyone at any time. Revelation is going to come to your mind in its own unique way. Revelation is going to come to your mind in its own unique way. But this revelation is going to be a revelation of one truth. This revelation is going to be a revelation of one truth. And any two beings who are awake, whenever they see each other, they just basically smile. And don't you know that it's time for you to allow? It's time for you to allow the phenomena of life to continue. I allow the phenomena of life to continue. I allow the phenomena of life to continue. Therefore, know that I love you greatly. I honor you. I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the world. I honor you. I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the world. I honor you for the courage it takes to let go of the world and open up the palms of the heart to the grace of heaven. As we continue the way of transformation, let the transformation be done. Let my transformation be done. Let your transformation be done. Say that to yourself. I let my transformation be done. I let my transformation be done. Take a breath. I let the transformation be done. I let the transformation be done. So how are you going to let the transformation be done? You're going to let the transformation be done from the perspective of delightful innocence. And to let the transformation be done in a perspective of delightful innocence, that means that your mind recognizes there is nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do with time. There's nothing else to do with time except extend the good, extend the holy, and extend the beautiful. That's the only thing left to be done in time is I am here to extend the good. I am here to extend the holy. I am here to extend the beautiful. I'm here to extend the beautiful. You are here to extend the good. You are here to extend the good. You are here to extend the holy. You are here to extend the holy. You are here to extend the beautiful. You are here to extend the beautiful. You are here to extend the beautiful. You are here to extend the good. You are here to extend the good. You are here to extend the holy. You are here to extend the holy. You are here to extend the beautiful. Peace. Peace then. Peace then be unto you always. Always, mighty companions. I love you so much. I'm here for you, with you. Go. Go in peace. Go in peace this day. Go in peace this day. Amen. Peace to you always. Go in peace this day. Amen. Share this video. Share this class. I love you, mighty companions. I see you. You're a beautiful treasure. And I will see you next time. I love you.